An eviction in the Atlanta area turned into a terrorizing moment for a Black veteran and her 4-year-old daughter.
It was excessive force.
Fulton County Marshals barged into her boyfriend's apartment while she was undressed and alone, but when she went to put some clothes on,
breaking my arm!
Should be shaming yourself.
Officials allegedly slammed her to the ground and arrested her on the spot. I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. Jumanah Baskerville was living in New Jersey at the time, but was frequently traveling to the Sandy Springs area right outside of Atlanta to go visit her boyfriend. She says that December 14th, 2021, it was a Tuesday. It started off as a normal day. She says her boyfriend went to work that morning. Around 11:30 that morning, she says that she went to go take a bath. Then moments later, she hears a knock on the door. She then puts on a robe. She says she answers the door. It was several men from the Fulton County Marshals office. She says that they were there to serve an eviction for her boyfriend's apartment. Little did she know, she says, things would get physical fast. It was all caught on body camera video. Baskerville says that the Marshals demanded she vacate her boyfriend's apartment immediately. She was noticeably upset in this footage. She says that she had no idea what was happening, so she called her boyfriend.
I called him. I'm like, you need to get here right now. They're trying to kick us out.
You can see she had a robe on. She then rummages through some clothes, walks to a nearby bedroom, and shuts the door.
Don't close the door. Now?
I'm putting clothes on and I'm naked.
Obviously, you're not naked.
I am naked. You want to see?
Go in the bathroom and get dressed!
Who are you talking to? Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up!
Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get down now! Get out now! Get out now!
He's like, you can't close the door. I'm like, but we're naked. I'm like, but I'm naked. I have to get dressed. He's like, I guess he yelled. He's like, well, go in the bathroom then. And then I'm like, what? I'm like, that's the bathroom is right here. He grabbed me, body slammed me.
She says all of this was happening while her 4-year-old daughter, Autumn, was nearby.
That hurts!
Good.
That hurts! Oh my God, it hurts! That hurts! That hurts! Breaking my arm!
Should be shaming yourself. You should be shaming yourself.
My boyfriend
Going to jail.
I don't have no.
You're going to jail.
That hurts. Let me close my close it.
It's another grown man, officer there as well, and he's helping him. You see, they had their knee on my back. They're exposing my body.
She says once they got her in handcuffs, the officer went into the bedroom, picked up her boyfriend's jeans, and tried to put them on her.
Like, it's not like I had on underclothes. It's not like I had on a bra, I had on panties. I'm telling you, I had on nothing. Fresh out the tub. And that's how he took me to jail. He took me to jail in a pair of pants with no underclothes on.
Her boyfriend would later arrive and picked up her daughter before she was taken to jail.
She still brings it up, like, every time we're like outside or in a car or something and she see police officers, she be like, mommy, the police, they beat you up.
Baskerville went to jail on a number of charges, including obstruction of law enforcement and simple battery.
I'm a small girl. It was nothing I could do to them two grown men that was in the apartment. It was nothing I could do to them. I just didn't understand, like, why did it go so far? Because I wanted to put clothes on.
Over the years, police body camera video has shed new light on a growing problem. Black women arrested or detained in a violent manner, often for crimes they don't commit and without female officers on hand. In February 2019, Anjanette Young, a 51-year-old medical social worker, was forced to stand naked in front of a dozen police officers who raided her home during a no-knock search warrant.
You need to tell me what you're looking for. What are you looking for? You have the wrong place. You got the wrong house. You got the wrong house.
All of them were men, mostly white. Turns out Chicago police were at the wrong house, and the man that they were looking to arrest had not lived in that apartment for at least 4 years. Young got a $2.9 million settlement from the city of Chicago, and she told CBS News that she's been on medication for depression and PTSD ever since and had to leave her job.
Just remember, being so afraid. It's one of those moments where I just felt like that I could have died that night.
I think the attack on Black women has just become so vulgar and in your face, and it's almost too commonplace.
We took the Baskerville case to attorney Tammy Allison. She's a former federal prosecutor who now runs her own law firm.
And in this situation, seeing a woman in a robe with a 4-year-old with her, there's absolutely no justification, in my opinion, for her to have been tackled down to the ground.
Court documents show that Baskerville's boyfriend, Al Ishmael McGill, owed just over $1,600 in rent before Marshals showed up to serve that eviction notice.
Typically, they would just hand her the documents on his behalf and go on about their way. We don't know what led up to the point of the body cam footage that we've seen. Maybe there was more, maybe there wasn't, but again, I've never really seen a service that escalates like this, as opposed to executing the writ of possession where they're evicting someone. Typically, you'd see the marshals and the landlord and people moving the things out, but that's not what was happening here. They were serving her to let her know that her boyfriend was going to be evicted in some future time.
There's always people out there that say, hey, listen, if Jumanah would have, complied and would have, been quiet and would have did what she was supposed to do, maybe she wouldn't have been in this circumstance. What is your response to that? I always like to ask that.
I feel like I did do what they asked me to do because he told me to go get dressed. He didn't tell me where to get dressed at. My first instinct was to go in the bedroom and get dressed. I wasn't gonna just take my robe off and just get dressed in front of them.
Baskerville says that in her case, there were no female marshals present, and she felt violated in a room full of male officers. She says that she is, though, thankful to be alive and thankful that a Fulton County judge and prosecutors opted to throw the case away on June 7th, 2022.
People need to look at it like if it was their sister or their daughter, their mother, their aunt, their grandmother. Because if it could happen to me, it could happen to them too.
We spoke to the Fulton County Marshal's office by phone. A spokesperson says that they were there to serve this eviction after months of written warnings, and that typically in normal cases, they do give people enough time to grab their immediate belongings like their cell phone, their ID, their car keys, their medications. They also say that male marshals are allowed to detain females. They have special training for it. They're just not allowed to search them. They also say it's best practice to never shut the door behind an officer once they're inside your home for safety reasons for both parties. But in the meantime, Baskerville says that she plans to both sue Fulton County and the officers involved. She has since moved her family to Charlotte, North Carolina to start a new life. For TSR Investigates, I'm Justin Carter. Hello, roommates, and thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Do you want more TSR Investigates? Be sure to subscribe and check us out at theshaderoom.com.